welcome to another episode of the DeRosa Driven YouTube channel. Hey, what's going on, guys? It's currently Monday morning. It's about 52 degrees out, raining as usual. It pretty much rained the whole weekend. We went up to New England Nationals Saturday. It was good, but we only saw like 3 top fuel cars run. Just because of the rain, everything was canceled for the most part. We ended up deciding to leave early because we had some other stuff to do. But it was still a great time. It's always great to see everybody up there. My old boss, Mike, works on one of the top fuel teams, so it's always great to go see him, talk with him for a while. Mike is an awesome dude, meticulous mechanic, one of the best. About 4 years ago, he called me up. He's like, hey, you want to work on Tim Wilkerson's car for the weekend? I'm like, oh, yeah, absolutely. So he brought me in. I was in their pit crew for 3 days, and it was just an unreal experience. Working on that top fuel car was definitely the highlight of my mechanical career. I was doing the cylinder heads. Never did anything with cylinder heads, really, except change valve springs. But Tim showed me how to take everything apart, how he wanted it, lap the valves, reassemble everything, ready to go, put the zoomies back on. When the heads came off the car hot, they'd throw them off to the side. I'd put them up on the bench, pop the zoomies off, and go through redoing the heads for the next run. It was an unreal experience. We definitely had an interesting race day, I will say that. I mean, I'm not really anybody, but if someone trusts you enough to bring you in and work on something like that, I mean, that said something. So that made me feel awesome. It was such a great time. Thank you again, Mike. All right, let's get to the video. I've been working on the truck a little bit, doing some boring stuff. I'm wiring up the tach because obviously that's needed. I got to figure out what's going on with that door over there. For some reason, the latch isn't working, so I can't get the door panel back on. I'm going to go over the truck a little bit. I'm running a generic racing seat with a 5-point harness. That's a Trans Am steering wheel. I had that from one of my cars because there was no steering wheel on the truck when I got it. I'm running a Holley Terminator X Sport Comp Monster Gauge with the shift light. I'm running a Hurst quarter stick. This Turbo 400 does have a reverse manual valve body in it. The rest of the truck inside, it's pretty stripped down. There's no radio. There's no headliner. No carpet. This is as stripped down as I want the interior to get. I still want a factory dash if I can, factory door panels. The rest of the stuff, I really don't care. So I want to talk about what I actually have under the hood here. This is a 2005 4.8 out of a Silverado. All I did was put a GM ASA camshaft in it. It's actually a pretty big cam to put in a 4.8. I wasn't sure if it was going to work, but it worked out pretty well. I'll put the link in the description. I'm running some Pack generic Beehive valve springs. I'm running Dirty Dingo mounts. I have Hedman Shorty headers from someone local. I'm running a cat eye intake off of a Silverado. That fit perfect. Off to the sides and the radiator support, I drilled and put nut certs to bolt that shield on for dust and debris. I'm running a 60 PSI fuel pump. There's my fuel pressure gauge there. I do not have the Holley fuel pressure sensor. That's probably something on the list, but I do not currently have it. This truck's running factory fuel injectors, factory coils, factory wires. Behind that is a Turbo 400 I had built. Truck has a 3,200 RPM stall. The radiator isn't really what I wanted. But I had already purchased it, so I had to make it work. I built some brackets to make everything work. Realistically, this inlet should have been on the other side, but right now, this is actually a factory Silverado radiator hose as well. I had to make this little adapter, but for the moment it works. I haven't ran into any issues. It's not the cleanest. I don't really like it, but for now it is what it is until I get a different radiator. This truck is so clean. Believe it or not, this truck has under 45,000 original miles. Original upper control arms, original ball joints. This truck might not look like much, but it's a time capsule. Believe it or not, this truck always had a V8 in it for the most part. My buddy Dave bought it in early 2000s, I want to say. He drove it around for a while with a 4-cylinder. That was too fast, so he had to take that out for safety reasons. He dropped a small block 305 out of a Monte Carlo SS. It had a built turbo 350 in it, and he had a blast with the truck. Grenaded the 305. I have the rod somewhere in the garage. After that motor, he had a built small block in it. I do not know the specs on it. I know it was pretty radical. It was a good running motor. He loved it. It sounded great. I remember seeing this truck as a kid. This thing coming down the road, I had no idea what it was. I just hear this radical truck coming down the road. It's so loud, and obviously it drew my attention right away. So I'm looking down the road. As soon as he pulled into his driveway with this thing, I ran over to it immediately. I had to figure out anything I could about it. So I go in there, he talks to me about it, and that day when I left, I'm like, wow, that truck is unreal. I just hope I can have something like that one day. I actually bought a 91 GMC S15, ended up being rotted out, not a good truck to start with. I ended up letting someone scrap it because I was just discouraged. I'm like, you know what? I'm done. That's how I got the red Camaro. I purchased that shortly after. But I had always had a thing for this truck. My buddy Dave ended up selling it off for a few years, and luckily I was able to acquire the exact truck that I fell in love with back then. So this truck means more to me than anybody could ever know. There are many people that would love to have this truck, and I'm so thrilled to have my hands on it. This truck was originally built to go to the track just as a fun weekend warrior, like let's have a blast, load up and go type deal, and it never made it. I wanted to acquire this truck and bring it to the track like it was meant to be. So that's why we're here. That's why we're doing what we're doing. We're going to see how far we can get with this truck. It has a huge story, and it is going to be awesome. It's probably time to go let the monster out, so let's go get that done. Win, what are you doing? Oh, not in the mulch bed. What's wrong with you? That wasn't very nice. She doesn't care. What are you, the Lion King? What are you doing? She literally thinks she's the Lion King. She comes in here looking for something to chew on. Yep. Did you find one you like? I guess so. You think we could trade the treat for the stick? Got it! I'm currently working on wiring up the tack. I just noticed I don't have an inline fuse holder, which I have to have for the positive side of the gauge. So I'm gonna run to the auto parts store, grab that, and then we can install it. Let's go inside, find our fuse holder. All right, we got parts. I grabbed 2 of them because you never know when you're going to need one next. It's always when you least expect it, the store's closed. Just like the paint experience we had. Well, that's a good sign. Let's do the final install. Everything's all wired up. I haven't tested it yet, so see if it works. Should still work, I hope. Nice. So the other day when I made my little update video, as soon as that video ended, you better believe that O2 sensor was right in the mailbox. As soon as the O2 sensor came in, I installed it right away. I guess let's see if it fixed it. Successfully got everything up and running. Drive shaft's all set. Everything's running great. O2 sensor really changed everything. This truck's running like a top now. It's exactly how it should be. Now I gotta figure out a couple more things with it, and I have to have it tuned at some point because this thing's running so rich. So anyways, thank you guys for watching. I will catch you on the next one. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, share, and most importantly, subscribe to show your support.